still honking horns of victory Monday morning on Tahrir Square in Cairo. One man's name was on everyone's lips: Morsi. Islamic fundamentalists were very happy, and the press did not miss a beat. Mohamed Morsi is the first civilian president of Egypt. He was elected with 51.7% of the votes, but Egypt's new leader was playing down his victory. In his first speech, he spoke of people coming together. I am addressing all of you on this day when I have become president of Egypt, thanks to God and your wishes. I will be president of all Egyptians with no exceptions, and with the respect I owe everyone. The election was held by hundreds of thousands of people Sunday night and brings at least an official end to 60 years of military rule, but many Egyptians remain skeptical. Dr. Morsi is taking over with his hands tied, without real power. The legislative power is still in the hands of the military council that dissolved the parliament. The new law is worse than the state of emergency that existed before. This is not what the people wanted. Strengthened by this presidential victory, the Muslim Brotherhood now wants to take back the parliamentary power that was seized by the army. Will there be a standoff or not? The transition period in Egypt is already complicated.
The recent skirmishes along the border between Ivory Coast and Liberia have raised concern about the security situation in the region. A number of UN peacekeepers from Niger lost their lives after an ambush blamed on militias loyal to former Laurent Gbagbo. In an effort to defuse tension, authorities in Liberia have extradited 41 Ivorians who are alleged to have been involved in the country's post-election violence. We have more in this report.
Côte d'Ivoire's RTI station was the first to broadcast pictures of a convoy carrying 41 Ivorian nationals extradited from Liberia for their role in Côte d'Ivoire's post-election violence last year. The handover followed a Liberian court ruling that the men be sent home to face justice. All belonged to the militia of former President Laurent Gbagbo, who had refused to accept his election defeat last year. They're charged with being involved in the post-election violence that claimed the lives of 3,000 people. The extradition comes as a series of cross-border attacks on Côte d'Ivoire's border with Liberia highlights the lingering threat posed by the militias and foreign mercenaries who fled there by the thousands.
We were sleeping when they started to shoot off their guns. We went out to try to run away, to run into the bush.
The attacks on June 8th left 18 people dead, including 7 UN soldiers. More than 12,000 people fled their homes. Since then, the Ivorian army has been patrolling the region.
The interrogation of these fighters takes place on the ground. They confirm to us that the recruitment takes place in refugee camps in Liberia.
Côte d'Ivoire's Republican forces are deployed in the dense jungle border between Côte d'Ivoire and Liberia. They've arrested several people. The aim is to reassure the local population and discourage new infiltrations by former Gbagbo supporters.
3 people are confirmed dead following a suspected grenade attack on a popular bar in the Kenyan port city of Mombasa. The crowd was watching a Euro 2012 football match when the incident occurred, and in a defiant, Omar el-Bashir tells his supporters the 9-day violent protest in the streets of Sudan against hike in food prices is no Arab Spring protest. We have more on both stories and others in this roundup of CL5 News.
Death toll from a grenade attack on a bar in the Kenyan city of Mombasa rose to 3 Monday. The blast occurred at the Jericho Bar in a densely populated district when football fans were watching the Euro 2012 quarter-final match. One of the 30 wounded is being held as a suspect. This is the latest in a string of attacks in Kenya blamed on Somalia's Islamist Shabab rebels, dealing a fresh blow to the government's efforts to secure the country and revive tourism. Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir told supporters Sunday that 9 days of countrywide protests against high prices in Sudan are no Arab Spring.
They demonstrated on Friday evening, and on the same day I toured the capital in an open car and everybody saw me. All those I met during my tour were greeting me and cheering, Allahu Akbar.
Anti-regime demonstrations began June 16th and have been severely repressed by security forces. Thousands of opposition supporters took to the streets of Nouakchott, Mauritania Saturday to demand President Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz step down. They accuse him of leading the country towards chaos. The protest movement began May 2nd. The head of the opposition, Ahmed Ould Dada, claimed that the government was forcing the country into a war in northern Mali that people didn't want. Mauritania has been making preventive strikes against al-Qaeda bases in northern Mali since 2010.
And now on to sports. The Summer's Wimbledon Championship began today with some of the big guns taking to the center court. World number one Novak Djokovic is to the second round after an impressive start to the defense of his title. British tennis fans will be hoping one of their own will clinch the title for the first time in many years. Ade Murray will carry the hopes of the home fans, but as we hear in this report, he will be facing competition from some of the stellar names in the business.
Huge summer, I think, for British sport, really. Yeah, it's going to be big. The Olympics is going to be, I think it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. I'll need to play some great tennis. There's going to be a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation.
One player who knows all about pressure and expectation is Andy Murray. At this time each year, Britain's only genuine Wimbledon contender is the subject of an intense media storm. Some wonder if he's really got the home court advantage.
When it comes to tennis, there's a sort of myth that, you know, it's a disadvantage to be playing in front of a home crowd and getting all the support that it puts extra pressure on you. But I think if you look over the years, it's normally helped players raise their game when they've been playing at home.
Neil Harmon has spent the last 9 years covering Andy Murray for the Times newspaper. He'd like nothing more than to see Murray end Britain's 76-year wait for a men's Grand Slam winner.
And I've never written about a British player winning a major, so that would be absolutely stunning. That's all of our dreams. I mean, we as a nation would love to see it.
High expectations again for the man many hope will give Britain another reason to celebrate this summer.
Interesting. And before we wind up the news, a reminder of our headlines. Public sector employees and others are receiving training designed to arm them with skills to monitor and evaluate implementation of the program for accelerated growth and employment. The visiting Munazamatul Da'watul Islamiyya Director General has handed over a 125 kVA generator and 1,000 bags of rice to government. Liberia has extradited 41 Ivorians accused of involvement in the post-election violence that rocked the Ivory Coast to their home country. And Mohamed Morsi has severed ties with the Muslim Brotherhood after his election as Egypt's first democratically elected president. You can follow those stories and other GRTS programs on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live. That brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned and enjoy our range of interesting programs. Until then, my name is Abu Khadawo.
I do not want to have development and it's not sustainable. And the only way you can have development is for there to be peace and security. And the only way you can sustain what has been developed so far and make it useful to the people also is ensuring peace and security.